On the 8th of January 1894, a little boy was born near Lodz in Poland. His name was Raymond, and his parents were poor but devout weavers. One night, when he was a young child, he had a dream, a vision of the Virgin Mary. He asked Mary what would become of him, and she offered him 2 crowns, one white for purity, the other red for martyrdom. She asked him which he would be willing to accept, and the little boy replied, both. He went on to join the Franciscan order, taking the name Maximilian Kolbe. Though he had been attracted to the army at the end of World War I, he was ordained in Rome, seeing himself as engaged in a spiritual instead of military, worldly battle. In 1919, he returned to Poland, and despite having incurable tuberculosis, he set about creating a printing press, producing newspapers and a radio station, believing that the media could be used for good to spread the word of God and encourage devotion to Mary. When the Nazis invaded Poland in 1939, he could have kept his head down and stopped doing what he was doing, but he didn't. Instead, he was sent to Auschwitz. Prisoner 16670 never renounced his faith. Instead, he prayed with and comforted his fellow prisoners. One day in late July 1941, the camp siren went off. Some prisoners had escaped, including from Block 14, Father Kolbe's block. From the blocks where the prisoners had escaped, the guards picked 10 prisoners to make an example. Those 10 would be sent to an underground bunker to starve to death. One of the 10 began weeping for his wife and children who he'd never see again. And it was Father Kolbe who stepped forward and told the guards that he would take the man's place. He prayed with and sang with the men for 2 weeks until they starved, and until he was one of the last left alive. St Maximilian Kolbe, the saint of Auschwitz. He was executed on the 14th of August 1941 after being injected with carbolic acid. He was canonized by Pope John Paul II, a martyr of charity and patron saint not only of political prisoners, but also of journalists and radio operators. In Jesus' words, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." One survivor said, "His death was a shock, filled with hope, bringing new life and strength. It was like a powerful shaft of light in the darkness of the camp." Father Kolbe's little-known story of bravery, steadfastness, and holiness is an inspiration to Christians and non-Christians alike. The 14th of August remains his feast day, the day, as Providence would have it, before the Assumption of Mary, the day in the Christian calendar that marks Mary's ascension into heaven. It was also the day that his remains were cremated. Saints and their feast days used to be an important part of the culture of the people of the British Isles. If you take a moment to look almost anywhere in the country, you will notice that our landscape is dotted with places associated with and named after saints, holy places as well as holy wells. It's testament to the ways in which the saints captured the imaginations and hearts of our ancestors. From 7th century saints like St Cuthbert in Durham to St Maximilian Kolbe in the 20th. I think the saints can beguile us just as they once did, if only we knew their stories.